in the most demanding quizzing arena around, the Pressure Pad. Two teams will compete across a series of head-to-head games with the aim of getting as many of their teammates into the final as possible. Whichever team wins the final will have the chance to play for the jackpot, which currently stands at £3,000. So, you know how things work. Let's meet the teams.
Hi John, I'm Tony. We're from Runcorn in Cheshire, and we're a team made up of family and friends. And this is Rob.
Hi John.
Hi Rob.
This is Keith.
Hi John.
Hello.
This is Stelly.
Hi John.
Hi Stelly.
And on the end is Kirsty.
Hi, John.
Hi Kirsty. So, who is who to who?
Rob's my brother-in-law.
Uh-huh.
Keith's a friend. Stelly's a friend. And Keith is actually Kirsty's dad.
And you're the lone girl.
Yeah.
Nice. I bet you're going to do the best.
Thanks for the pressure. Added pressure. Thanks. That's great.
No problem. That's why it's called Pressure Pad. All right. So we'll see how you do a little later, okay?
Thanks.
Pink team, introduce yourself and your team.
Hi John. I'm Stuart.
Hi, Stuart.
And we are church friends from Ballymena.
Uh-huh.
This is James.
Hi, John. Hi, James.
We have Hughie.
Hi, John. Hi, Hugh.
Matthew. Hi John.
Hi, Matthew.
And finally Michael. Hi John.
Hi, Michael. Okay, how long have you known each other?
Well, I've only known the team for 8 months. They all know each other from before that.
Okay, so you're the new boy.
I'm the new one.
So how did you get to become captain?
I work at the church. I'm the director of music.
Did you put a flyer out in the church?
No, I just picked people who I thought would be good together in a team.
Okay.
They weren't available, so then I got
I like that. All right, our first head-to-head is called Deadline. In the center of the pressure pad, you will see a deadline. All you have to do is stop the deadline reaching your area on the pad. The only way to do that is by answering the questions correctly. Captains, you know how the game works. Who do you want to send down to play Deadline? Tony.
We're going to send Kirsty down for this one, John. She's the cleverest out of us.
Yeah.
See, I can tell. All right, Stuart.
We are going to send Hughie because we think Hughie is the quickest thinker of the group and will do the best in this game.
Excellent. Okay, Kirsty and you, please come and join me on the pressure pad. Hi, Kirsty. Nice to meet you. Pleasure. Hi, Hugh. Lovely to meet you. Kirsty, first off, I like your dress.
Thank you.
What does the fox say?
I have no idea.
You were
Sorry.
supposed to go ring ding 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 ding
Ah.
ding 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 ding. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Hi, Hugh.
Hi there.
What do you think your strengths will be today on the pressure pad?
Hopefully my knowledge is quite wide and that the questions are kind to me.
I can't guarantee that.
No, I know.
But good luck.
Thank you very much.
All right, it's time to decide who is going to play first. So to do that, I will toss the coin. The color is blue. Okay? Kirsty, you get to choose whether you're going to go first or second.
I'll go first.
So, Kirsty and you, please take your positions on the pressure pad. The winner of this game will join their captain in the final. You both start with 2 lives. The deadline will move across the pressure pad, getting closer and closer until you get a question right. Give a correct answer, and the deadline will reverse towards the opponent. If the deadline reaches your area, you lose a life. I will only accept the first answer you give me, so think before you speak. Kirsty, are you ready?
Yep.
All right. The 2011 cookbook Bad Piggies Egg Recipes was a spin-off from which video game franchise?
Angry Birds.
That is correct. Which 1950 film is narrated by a dead man floating in a swimming pool? Pass. Sunset Boulevard. In 1980, an agony aunt column called Dear Deirdre began appearing in which national newspaper? The Sun. That is correct. In a leap year, the month of February has how many days? The month of February has how many days?
29.
That is correct. In TV cartoons, what was the name of Dick Dastardly's canine sidekick? Muttley. That is correct. In astrology, which star sign is represented by a bull?
Taurus.
Correct. In the 1998 film There's Something About Mary, which actress played the title role? Pass. Cameron Diaz. O'Hare International Airport is located in which U.S. city? Chicago. That is correct. What is the official language of Monaco?
French.
Correct. The singer Miley Cyrus played the character Miley Stewart in which TV series? Pass. Hannah Montana. In biology, what is the scientific name for a kneecap? Patella. That was the right answer, but it was too late. The deadline had hit your area. So, unfortunately, you've lost a life, Hugh. Lose one more and you are out of the game. Now, the game gets a bit harder. You both need to take a step in, so the deadline will reach you sooner. Hugh, you will go first this time. Ready?
Yeah.
Which stage play, first performed in 1952, is set in a guest house called Monkswell Manor in wintertime?
Pass.
The Mousetrap. In a calendar year, which is the first month to have exactly 30 days?
April.
That is correct. Which city is the capital of Germany?
Berlin.
Correct. I am serious and don't call me Shirley is a line from which 1980 film?
Pass.
Airplane. In folklore, the arch enemy of Robin Hood was the sheriff of which city?
Nottingham.
Correct. The female of the blackbird that is common throughout Britain has what color plumage?
Brown.
Correct. Which toy was named after President Theodore Roosevelt?
Teddy bear.
That is correct. The rowan tree is also known as the mountain what?
Ash.
Correct. What is the surname of the rock singer whose 2009 autobiography was entitled I Am Ozzy?
Osborne.
Correct. David Beckham made his first team debut for which football club in 1992 at age 17?
Manchester United.
Correct. Which playwright married Marilyn Monroe in 1956?
Pass.
Arthur Miller. The Music of the Night and The Point of No Return are songs from which musical?
Pass.
The Phantom of the Opera. Which annual U.S. holiday is celebrated on the fourth Thursday of
Thanksgiving
November?
Day.
You're just out of time. The answer was Thanksgiving, but unfortunately, Hugh, you have lost your second life, which means you are out of the game. However, Kirsty, you stood the pressure of the pressure pad. You are in the final. So, Dad, what do you think of her performance?
Excellent. Taught her everything I know, so she did well.
So, we'll see if the rest of you can do just as well as Kirsty. Stelly's going, nope, nope, nope. Well, good luck anyway. Stuart, he was so close.
Yeah, I thought he had it. Thought he was going to pull back and have a dramatic victory, but sadly not.
It's easy when you're up there. Just wait till you're down there. All right, the next head-to-head is called Step On. At the start of this game, you will choose a category. On the pressure pad, a series of possible answers to a question will appear one by one. Some of these answers will be correct and some will be incorrect. When you see 3 correct answers appear on the pressure pad at the same time, you should step on to lock in those answers. Step on too early and you lose a life. Step on at the right time and your opponent will lose a life. Tony, who do you want to send from the blue team?
We're going to send Stelly for this one.
All right, Stella, you get to prove yourself now.
I do. Well, Davis.
Good. And Stuart, who are you going to send down?
I'm going to send Matthew. I think he's going to know when to step on. I think he'll get it just right and perhaps, well, I thought that about you. So,
All right, Stella and Matthew, please come and join me on the pressure pad. Hi, Stelly. Nice to see you. Hi, Matthew. Nice to see you. Stelly, I understand you have a freaky problem. I have the same thing, you know.
really?
Tell him what it is. I'm not gonna do it. Don't worry.
Can't have that touch me neck, I'll freak out.
He doesn't like people touching his neck because it makes him freak out. I have the same thing. What if I said you could touch my neck? I'm not gonna touch your neck. I promise you I won't touch your neck. But does it freak you out if you have to touch someone else's?
No.
Go on then. Good luck.
Okay.
Matthew, you don't have a neck problem, do you?
I don't like people strangling me, but I'm okay with people touching my neck.
Lots of people would agree with you on that.
That's okay, yeah.
I'm the same. Listen, if you want to win, just touch his neck. As you both play Step On at the same time, we'll toss a coin to decide who will choose the first category. And it's going to be the pink team. Okay? So Matthew and Stelly, please take your positions on the pressure pad. The winner of this game will join their captain in the final. You both start with 2 lives. Remember, you must step on to the pressure pad when you see 3 correct answers at the same time. Matthew, here are the 4 categories. They are banknotes, TV, geography, literature.
I'll go for TV, please.
Okay. TV. You need to step on when you see the names of 3 characters who have appeared in more than 5 episodes of the TV series Friends. First one, Monica Geller. Dr. Robert Chase, Marcy Darcy, Carrie Bradshaw, Ralph Tatton, Chandler Bing, Karen Walker, Gunther, Ross Geller. Oh no, that was fast. So fast, I thought you didn't even step on it. It was like, foo-foo. You did though, you stepped on very quickly.
I was hoping that this one was going to change.
You were trying to preempt it.
Schoolboy error.
Which is the one you're most sure of?
Ross and Gunther, I'm sure it's those two.
Okay, let's see if Ross Geller is a character in Friends that's appeared more than 5 episodes. Pressure pad. Yep. Next one's Gunther. Did Gunther appear in more than 5 episodes? Yes, he did. So if Karen Walker's appeared more than 5 episodes, you stepped on at the right time, and if not, you've lost a life. Pressure pad. Was Karen Walker in more than 5 episodes? No, she wasn't. Karen Walker was from Will and Grace. So you've lost a life. Stelly, you get to choose the category this time. They are banknotes, geography, and literature.
Yeah, let's go literature.
You're going to go literature. Okay? You need to step on when you see the titles of 3 well-known books that were written by women. First one is Madame Bovary, Black Beauty, Barchester Towers, The Catcher in the Rye, Middlemarch, The Casual Vacancy, 50 Shades of Grey, The Great Gatsby, Tess of the D'Urbervilles, Frankenstein. Okay, we have a step on from Stelly. Which one are you most confident about?
Tess of the D'Urbervilles.
You're most confident about Tess of the D'Urbervilles.
Not too sure about Gatsby, and that was just
You're not too sure about Gatsby or Frankenstein. Let's start with the one you're not too sure about. Let's go for Frankenstein. Pressure pad, is it written by a woman? It was written by Mary Shelley. The other one you weren't sure about was The Great Gatsby. Pressure pad, was it written by a woman? It was not. It was F. Scott Fitzgerald. And Tess of the D'Urbervilles was written by Thomas Hardy, both men. So, actually, you both missed an opportunity to step on earlier when we had Middlemarch, The Casual Vacancy, and 50 Shades of Grey. They were all 3 written by women. So, you both have lost a life, which means we go to a decider round. Matthew, please choose a category. They are banknotes and geography.
Go geography, please, John.
You are going to go with geography. You need to step on when you see the names of 3 national capital cities of countries in Asia. Here's the first one. Ho Chi Minh City, Shanghai, Fuji, Pyongyang, Mumbai, Kathmandu, Kuala Lumpur, Hanoi, Lahore, Ulaanbaatar, New Delhi, Jakarta, Dhaka, Manila, Seoul, Tehran, Tokyo, Beijing, Kabul. Pink has stepped on. Which is the one you're most sure of?
Confident these 2, not sure about Kabul, but yeah.
If you've stepped on at the wrong time, Matthew, you've lost your second life, you're out of the game. However, if you are correct, then Stelly, you have lost both lives and you are then out of the game. Okay, let's start with Tokyo. Pressure pad. Is Tokyo a capital city of a country in Asia? Yes, it is. Capital of Japan. Let's go to Beijing. Pressure pad, is Beijing a capital city of a country in Asia? Yes, it is. Beijing actually is the capital of China. So it all rests on Kabul. Pressure pad, is Kabul a capital city of a country in Asia? It is correct. It's the capital of Afghanistan. So you did step on at the right time. I have to to say there were other opportunities. From Ulaanbaatar all the way up to Tokyo, they were all capital cities of Asian countries. You could have stepped on it early, but you did it anyway. You got it right. So, unfortunately, Stelly, that means you've lost both lives. You are out of the game. However, Matthew, you stood the pressure of the pressure pad. You are... Tony, you've lost a man.
Yeah, it's okay. We're going to pull it back with the next game now, John.
That's what I like to hear. Positive thinking. Stuart, you kept Matthew.
Very pleased. Good
Yes.
performance.
He was a little excited at the beginning.
It's enthusiastic.
And it paid off because the second time around, you got it right. The next head-to-head is called Borderline. On the pressure pad, you'll see a map of the British Isles. Initially, it will be divided into 3 sections by 2 lines. I'll ask a question, and you have 10 seconds to stand in the section of the map you think contains the correct answer. Each time a correct answer is given, a new cut will be added to the map, making it more difficult. Tony, who will be playing for the blue team?
Keith's going to be playing this game, John. I think if you ask Keith, he probably drove up and down Great Britain a couple of times in his life.
Okay, Stuart, who are you going to choose?
I'm choosing James. He informed me it was the only A level he managed to pass.
Okay.
Geography.
Excellent. Keith and James, please come and join me on the pressure pad. Hello, Keith.
Hello, John. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you. So, Keith, Christy is your daughter.
That's correct.
She did very well.
You too.
Are you feeling pressure now here because we're all expecting the same from you?
Not so much, no, I'm quite happy for Chris.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Great. Good luck.
Thank you.
James, good at geography.
Enough to pass.
What did you get?
E and then a D when I repeated it.
Oh, okay.
If I do it an R 3 times, I might get an A.
Oh. £3,000 up for grabs today. What would you spend it on?
We're sending Matthew and Michael away. One to Romania and one to Uganda. Just enough to send them one way and not enough to come back.
And is this with church work? Charity
Yes.
work?
Yep.
All right. Well, hopefully it will happen.
Thank you.
And good luck getting home.
Thank you.
Time to decide who's going to play first. Give it a flip, and it is going to be the blue team. So, Keith, would you like to go first or second?
Go for it, boys. Yes, we'll go first, please.
You're going to go first? Keith and James, please take your positions on the pressure pad. The winner of this game will join their captain in the final. You both start with 2 lives. When you're out of lives, you are out of the game. Okay, Keith, you are up first. You can change your mind as many times as you like within 10 seconds, but when the time is up, I'll take the area that you're standing in as your answer. If you're standing in the wrong section, you lose a life. Pressure pad. Cut the map. Keith, the National Eisteddfod is an annual cultural festival held in which part of the UK? Go.
Well, John, I think the Eisteddfod is Wales, which I think is round about here.
All right, pressure pad. He said it's in Wales. Is he in the right section? That's correct, and it was, in fact, Wales. Pressure pad. Cut the map. Euston and Charing Cross are railway stations in which city? Go.
I'm gonna guess London, which I hope is over here.
Okay, pressure pad. Let's see if he is correct. You are absolutely right. Pressure pad. Cut the map. Which royal residence is the oldest and largest inhabited castle in the world? Go.
Sure, on this one, I think there's a castle, possibly Scotland, so I will go here.
Okay, you're saying it's in Scotland. Pressure pad. Is he in the right section? Incorrect. Which is the right section? It's Windsor Castle.
Ah.
So you've lost 1 life, Keith. James, you will go first this time. Pressure pad, cut the map. The country code topleveldomain.ie is used for the websites of individuals and organizations based in which country? Go.
England is the biggest country, but it's kind of divided here, so I'm going to go Ireland.
Fancy footwork. Okay, you said Ireland. Let's see if you're correct. Yes, it is. It is Ireland. Well done. Pressure pad, cut the map. Where is the All England Lawn Tennis Club, which hosts an annual Grand Slam tournament starting in June? Go.
Well, I think that would be Wimbledon. Hoping it's this bit of the map.
All right, let's see if you're correct. Pressure pad, is he in the right section? Yes, you are, and it is Wimbledon. Well done. Pressure pad, cut the map. The coronation service for new UK monarchs is traditionally conducted by the Archbishop of where? Go.
I think it's Canterbury, which I'm going to guess is in this section.
Okay, let's see if you're right. Pressure pad, is he correct? Incorrect. The correct section was, but it was Canterbury, but you were just in the wrong section. So, you both have lost a life, which means we go to a decider round. Keith, you will go first. And pressure pad, cut the map. Natives of which city are known informally as Brummies? Go.
I think this is Birmingham, which I'm hoping Midlands. This bit here.
Okay, you're hoping the Midlands. Pressure pad, is he correct? Yes, he is. You're in the right section. Pressure pad, cut the map. The term Oxbridge refers to the universities in Oxford and which other city? Go.
I'd say it's Cambridge, and I'm hoping it's going to be over on this side of England.
All right, James is hoping it's that side of England. Pressure pad, is his hope correct? Yes, it is. And it is Cambridge. Pressure pad, cut the map. In 2011, Luis Suarez signed for which Premier League football club? Go.
That would be Liverpool. And I'm guessing this bit.
Okay, you're guessing that section. Pressure pad, is his guess correct? It is. Well done. He signed for just under 23 million. Pressure pad, cut the map. Most ferries departing the port of Holyhead are bound for which destination? Go.
I think it's Dublin, so we'll just stand in this big section.
You say it's Dublin, you're standing in that big section. Let's see if that's correct. You're absolutely right. It is Dublin. Pressure pad, cut the map. Which resort is renowned for its crab production and was briefly a refuge for Albert Einstein after he fled Germany in the 1930s? Go.
Ooh, tough one. Not sure. Crabs, Germany. I guess it's down Cornwall way.
Okay, now if this is correct, you're in the game. If it's incorrect, you've lost your second life, and that means James goes into the final. Pressure pad. Is he in the right section? You are not. The right section is right over there. And it's Cromer, North Norfolk coast, about 20 miles north of Norwich. And it inspired the opera Einstein on the Beach. So Keith, unfortunately you've lost 2 lives. That means you're out of the game. James, however, you stood the pressure of the pressure pad. You're in the final. Tony, I hate to say, but his driving up and down the country didn't do him any good. He must not have been paying attention.
I'm glad I wasn't in the car anyway.
Good luck. James, your geography qualification paid off?
Oh, it's got to go up to at least the sea now.
Yeah, we'll see. The last head-to-head is called Orbit. On the pressure pad, you will see 4 categories. Your job is to correctly answer 1 question in each category, but there's a twist. The first player will set the time for the second player to beat. The player who takes the longest will lose a life. Captains, as you don't play in the head-to-heads, and as this is the last one before the final, we know who's going to play next. Rob and Michael, please join me on the pressure pad. Hello, Rob. How are you? Good. Rob,
Yes.
are you nervous?
I'm not too bad. Fortunately, I'm following Keith and not Kirsty.
Okay.
She set the bar quite high.
Yes, she
there
did
early
set the
doors,
bar quite high, and
so-
she did very, very well. Good luck.
Thank you.
Michael,
Hello.
I understand you delve into the martial arts?
Yes, I'm a dangerous man. Oh, no, don't do that, John.
Why?
I'll touch your neck.
both of you. Time to decide who's going to play first. It is the blue team.
First. Yeah, first.
Okay, Rob's going to go first, so Rob and Michael, please take your positions on the pressure pad. The winner of this game will join their captain in the final. You start with 2 lives each. When you've lost your 2 lives, you are out of the game. Remember, you need to answer a question correctly in each category before you can move on. I will only accept the first answer you give me to each question. Rob, whatever time is set by you is the time Michael has to beat. The 4 categories are comedy, farming, biographies, words. First category is comedy.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Which comedian born in Yemen in 1962 has described himself as a male tomboy?
Pass.
Eddie Izzard. The famous Abbott and Costello sketch, Who's on First, centers on which sport?
Cricket.
Baseball. Shut that door was the catchphrase of which entertainer?
Larry Grayson.
That is correct. Farming. The farming practice called sericulture produces yarn used to make which fabric?
Wool.
Silk. What is the usual term for a young adult cow that has not yet had a calf?
Foal.
Heifer. Which crop is often grown in a paddy field?
Rice.
Correct. Biographies. The Moon's a Balloon and Bring on the Empty Horses were 1970s memoirs by which actor?
Pass.
David Niven. Which director won an Oscar for the 1982 biographical film Gandhi?
Oliver Stone.
Richard Attenborough. What was the surname of the title character played by Jamie Foxx in the 2004 biopic Ray?
Orbison.
Charles. The Sound of Laughter is an autobiography by which comedian?
Ricky Gervais.
Peter Kay. Which film starred Johnny Depp as the playwright J.M. Barrie, Finding Nemo or Finding Neverland?
Finding Neverland.
Finding Neverland is correct. Words. In the English language version of Scrabble, the letter H is worth how many points?
2.
4. Which is the first animal defined in the Oxford English Dictionary?
Antelope.
Aardvark. Samedi is the French word for which day of the week?
Sunday.
Saturday. Which word can mean the outer covering of a tree and the noise made by a dog? Correct. Stop the clock. Rob, you've completed the board in 1 minute and 50 seconds. That is the time that Michael has to beat. Pressure pad is reset. First category is comedy. Are you ready?
Yes.
Which comedy duo originated the 4 Candles sketch set in a hardware shop?
Two Ronnies.
Correct. Farming. What is the term for a castrated cockerel?
Pass.
Capon. Swaledale, Romney, and Scottish Blackface are all breeds of which animal?
Cow.
Sheep. Which word beginning with M is an alternative name for corn?
Mears.
Correct. Biographies. Which Belfast-born actor's autobiography entitled Beginning was published when he was only 28?
Pass.
Sir Kenneth Branagh. The 2013 book Love, Lipstick and Lies is the 5th volume of memoirs by which former glamour model?
Pass.
Katie Price. That Close is a 2013 memoir by which singer best known as the frontman of Madness?
Shaun Ryder.
Incorrect. It's Suggs. The 2001 book Billy by Pamela Stevenson is about a Scottish comedian with what surname?
Connolly.
Correct. Words. The spelling reformer who wrote the American Dictionary of the English Language was Noah who?
Pass.
Webster. What is the term for a word such as kayak or radar that reads the same backwards as forwards?
Pass.
Palindrome. Which country is known in its own language as Deutschland?
Germany.
Correct. Stop the clock. Michael, you have completed in 1 minute and 25 seconds, which means you have beaten Rob's time. Rob, you have lost a life. Lose 1 more and you are out of the game. Michael, you're going to go first this time. Here are the 4 categories. They are human body, celebrities, architecture, United States. First category is human body. Here is your first question. What is the name of the layer of tissue that protects the root of a tooth?
Gum.
Cementum. The MMR vaccine protects against mumps, measles, and which other disease?
Rubella.
That is correct. Celebrities. The singer known as Rihanna was born in 1988 in which Caribbean island country?
Pass.
Barbados. Which veteran comedian created the character Dame Edna Everage?
Pass.
Barry Humphries. Harry Styles first came to fame as a member of which boy band formed on The X Factor?
One Direction.
That is correct. Architecture. In 1873, which palace opened on Queen Victoria's 54th birthday only to burn down 16 days later?
Pass.
Alexandra Palace. Several buildings in Barcelona by which architect were made a World Heritage Site in 1984?
Pass.
Antoni Gaudi. A large glass pyramid serves as an entrance to which Parisian museum?
Louvre.
That is correct. United States. By area, which U.S. state is the smallest?
New Hampshire.
Rhode Island. Who was the U.S. president at the beginning of 2000?
George W. Bush.
Bill Clinton. What is the common British name of the cooking ingredient known in North America as eggplant?
Aubergine.
That is correct. Stop the clock. Michael, you completed the board in 1 minute and 20 seconds. That's the time Rob has to beat. You can join me up here. The pressure pad will reset. The first category is human body. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Bile is stored in which organ of the body?
Pass.
Gallbladder. Audiology is the scientific study of which of the senses?
Sight.
Hearing. The everyday term for halitosis is bad what?
Breath.
Correct. Celebrities. What is the stage name of the singer born Jessica Ellen Cornish in 1988?
Jessie J.
Correct. Architecture. The three ancient orders of classical Greek architecture are Doric, Ionic, and which other?
Pass.
Corinthian. When it was completed in 1931, which New York landmark was the tallest building in the world?
The Chrysler.
Empire State Building. In 1996, which restored London Theatre became the first thatched roof building permitted in London since the Great Fire?
Pass.
The Globe Theatre. In 1973, Queen Elizabeth II officially opened the new Opera House in which Australian city?
Sydney.
That is correct. United States. The capital of North Dakota is named after which German chancellor?
Pass.
Bismarck. Which is the only U.S. state whose name begins with the letter U?
Utah.
That is correct. Stop the clock. All right, Rob, you have completed the board in 1 minute and 12 seconds, which means you have beaten Michael's time. Now you have both lost a life. So that means we go to a decider. Rob, you will go first this time. Here are the four categories. Pastimes, 90s pop music, food, politics. First category is pastimes. Racing is an alternative name for which hobby?
Pass.
Train spotting. Arrows is a colloquial name for which throwing game often played in pubs?
Darts.
Correct. 90s pop music. The 1997 hit Rumble in the Jungle by the Fugees sampled which ABBA song?
Waterloo.
The name of the game. Rent a flat above a shop, cut your hair, and get a job are lyrics from which 1995 hit single by Pulp?
Common People.
That is correct. Food. Which French chef created the dish Peach Melba in honor of the Australian singer Dame Nellie Melba?
Pass.
It was Auguste Escoffier. Navel, Jaffa, and Seville are all varieties of which fruit?
Orange.
Correct. Politics. Which Australian Prime Minister and former trainee Catholic priest has been nicknamed the Mad Monk?
Pass.
Tony Abbott. What does the F stand for in the name of the U.S. President John F. Kennedy?
Frederick.
Fitzgerald. The actors Timothy West, Albert Finney, and Robert Hardy have all played which British Prime Minister?
Tony Blair.
Winston Churchill. An MEP is a member of which parliament?
Pass.
European. In the House of Lords, the seats are upholstered in what color leather? Yellow or red?
Red.
That is correct. Stop the clock. All right, Rob, you have completed the board in 1 minute and 25 seconds. Michael, that is the time you have to beat. Come and join me, and good luck. Are you ready?
Yes.
A deltiologist is someone who collects which items?
Pass.
Postcards. What is the Japanese name for the art of folding paper into decorative shapes such as birds and flowers?
Origami.
That is correct. 90s pop music. Which 1990 song was the Beautiful South's only UK #1 single?
Pass.
A Little Time. Which French electronic duo had a hit single in 1997 with Da Funk?
Da Funk.
That is correct. Food. What is the Japanese name for various species of pufferfish regarded as a delicacy?
Fuguru.
Nope, it's fugu. Emmental and gorgonzola are types of which dairy product?
Cheese.
That is correct. Politics. The Representation of the People Act, which gave many British women over 30 the right to vote, was passed in which year?
1919.
It's incorrect. It was 1918. Which politician was elected leader of the Liberal Democrats in December 2007?
Clegg.
That is correct. Stop the clock. Michael, you have completed the board in 56 seconds, which means you have beaten Rob's time. Unfortunately, Rob, that means you're out of the game. Michael, you have stood the pressure of the pressure pad. You're in the final. That is it for the head-to-head. Tony, you have one player to help you in the final. Stuart, you have three. Tony and Stuart, please come and join me on the pressure pad. Hello, Tony. How are you? Hi, Stuart. Nice to see you. Tony, you're very pleased right now because you got Kirsty with you.
If there was anyone I'd want up there, it'd be Kirsty.
Okay, yeah, because she did very, very well.
She did. She done excellent.
All right, well, good luck.
Thank you.
Stuart, James said that you were going to put the money towards going to Romania and Uganda for Michael and Matthew. That's right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so you've all agreed on that.
Yes, we have.
All right.
Happy.
Let's hope you win some money.
Thank you very much.
And then you can send them. And like I said, good luck on getting back again, guys. All right, Tony and Stuart, please take your positions on the pressure pad. Here's how the final works. Each team will be given 4 multiple choice questions. The first team to answer all 4 questions correctly will go on to play for the jackpot of £3,000. Stuart, as you have the most players in the final, you get the advantage of going first. Here's your first question. In Greek mythology, who beheaded the Gorgon Medusa? Was it Perseus or Heracles?
I think it's Heracles. I think it's Heracles too.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go with Heracles.
Okay, you're going with Heracles. It was pretty definite. All agreed. Let's see if you're correct. Pressure pad. Is it right? It is incorrect. Play passes right over to you, Tony. And Tony, your first question is, which metal is the main constituent of the alloy pewter? Is it tin or zinc?
What's fit, Kirsty?
Pewter's quite flexible and weak.
Tin.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to guess John and go with tin.
You're going to guess tin. Pressure pad. Is it correct? It's correct. Next question. In which U.S. state was Barack Obama born? Was it Hawaii, Kansas, or Illinois?
I think I know this. Hawaii.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Hawaii, John.
Okay, you're going to go Hawaii. Pressure pad, is this correct? It is. Next question. In The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which of the Pevensey children is the first to discover Narnia? Is it Peter, Lucy, Susan, or Edmund?
Lucy, yeah, the little one.
The little girl, yeah. Nice. I'm going to go with Lucy, John.
If it's correct, you go to the next question. If it's incorrect, play will pass back over to Stuart and the boys. Pressure pad. Is it Lucy? It's Lucy. Blue team storming ahead. Next question. Which of these England footballers has won the Golden Boot at a World Cup? Is it Jeff Hurst, David Beckham, Gary Lineker, Bobby Charlton, Jimmy Greaves?
Gary Lineker.
It's got to be. It's not Beckham.
Yeah. I don't think it's Jeff Hurst.
No.
I don't think David Beckham, no. Bobby Charlton. No. Jimmy Greaves.
I don't know, mate. What do you reckon?
I'd go with Gary
Lineker?
Lineker. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's try it.
Gary Lineker, please, John.
Okay, let's see if it's correct. If it is correct, you go to the jackpot question for £3,000. If it's incorrect, then play passes back over to Stuart and the boys. Let's see, pressure pad. Is this correct? It is correct. Congratulations, Tony. You have beaten the boys and now have the chance to play for the jackpot of £3,000. Stuart, sadly that means the end of the road for your team.
Okay.
The correct answer, of course, was Perseus, but you guys played a great game.
Thank you.
Thank you for playing. A big round of applause for the Hig team. All right, Tony, well done to you and your team for making it this far. You are now just one question away from winning the jackpot of £3,000. To win the cash, all you have to do is answer one final question correctly, but there is a twist. In a moment, I will show you two categories. You can decide with your fellow teammate which category you're going to choose. However, as captain, you must answer the question without any help. Here are the two categories. They are charity records or crime writers.
Speak.
It's all on you, mate, innit? So, whatever you think you can do.
Charity records then, please.
Okay, you're going to go with charity records. Remember, from here on, it's all down to you. You are no longer allowed to confer. Tony, here are the 6 possible answers to your question. They are Boy George, Phil Collins, George Michael, Sting, Bono, Paul Young. The question is, on the 1984 single, Do They Know It's Christmas, who sings the lines, and in our world of plenty, we can spread a smile of joy?
I don't think it's Boy George. Not too sure on Phil Collins. George Michael, maybe, possibly. Sting, not too sure on. And Bono and Paul Young, I think it might be one of them two. I'm gonna go for a guess, John, and I'll go with Paul Young.
You've locked it in. If it's correct, you walk away with £3,000. If it's incorrect, then you go away with absolutely nothing. Pressure pad. Is Paul Young the correct answer? It is not. The correct answer was Boy George. A shame, Kirsty, did you know the answer?
No,
You didn't.
I couldn't run it through my head, the song, so no.
Okay.
Didn't.
All right, I'm so sorry. Unfortunately, that means, Tony, that you and your team will leave without any cash, but I hope you enjoyed your time.
We have next.
Enjoyed your time playing? Kirsty, did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, definitely.
Great. The jackpot now has increased to £6,000. Join us next time to see if any team will be lucky enough to win. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, if you can't take the pressure,
Stay off the pressure pad.